say demon?
Yeah.
Was that you suffocating Jim? Oh, Jesus! I'm picturing like a bird cage right now. No, I grabbed my fucking neck. Seriously? Yeah. Oh, oh! Something just grabbed my backpack. Yeah. You just moved that ball?
Is there anything inhuman down here?
I hear growling.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Paranormal Nut Podcast. I'm Sean, that's Jim, and with us today we have Jeff and Trey Bader of the My Haunted Project.
What's going on,
Hello,
guys?
hello. I told them not to get too long, and then they
Didn't say anything.
That's good.
Immediately
That's cool.
freeze.
That's
Thanks
cool.
for having us, guys.
All right.
Good to see you, boys.
As you all know, you've probably already watched the video. We were at My Haunted Manor recently, and we did some investigation with these guys. We had to get them on the podcast. We had to have them tell us their story, tell us a story about My Haunted Manor and everything they're up to, get their insights. But before we get into all that crazy stuff about that night, let's learn who we're actually talking to. Jeff, since you are the older brother, do you want to start off and kind of explain to me how two brothers end up on a paranormal show together?
Sure. Yeah. It's awesome that we get to work together. It's like, planets aligned for this to happen. We were just in the right place, right time. But, we since growing up, we were into the paranormal, always into, the ghost shows. The taps was like our lifeblood.
Yep. That's everybody, all our age. It's like taps and,
Jeez. But
that's more of a Ghost Adventurer's gut. No.
Yeah. Said no one.
Yeah.
So, we were always into this, always into, horror movies, ghost stories. And we lived in a old, early 1900s townhouse in Wilmington. I saw, when I was a kid, a full body apparition. And I've just been kind of, chasing that dragon, my whole life. Want to see that again, prove that I wasn't crazy. And Trey got into a local ghost hunting team. You want to touch on that, Trey?
Yeah.
That's how we got wrapped into this.
Yeah, so that was about 2020. I joined Diamond State Ghost Investigators here in Delaware. And that's a team that runs all the paranormal events, tours at Fort Delaware. We do local, residences and businesses and travel all over. And that was just an absolute blast. It was such a good opportunity to join them. And it was about a year later, I was like, hey, my brother's super into this. Can we get him in? He does a lot of video work. He could help us there. And Jeff joined. And yeah, it's just been an absolute blast. So many cool experiences, and it just kind of led up to where we are now.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people who maybe just are like paranormal, but just kind of watch it, movies, YouTube and stuff. The real heart and soul of the paranormal community are those ground teams that are doing it like day in, day out. They get no recognition. They're not really doing the YouTube thing. They're just taking people who don't know how to paranormal investigate, bringing them with them. They're doing the investigations. They're actually helping people deal with, loss. Am I experiencing someone in my house and things like that? And, obviously shout out to every paranormal team out there doing that doesn't get the recognition they deserve.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
and these guys they're just the best. Yeah, they're the best guys. Best team, the nicest people, so professional. And they do, private investigations. They help people. But they also do tours of Fort Delaware. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. I don't know.
Is that Is that an invitation?
Yeah,
You guys gonna
every
get the old
October,
gang back together
In
and we'll go
October,
at
yeah,
it?
every weekend in October.
100%. You
Ooh.
guys got to experience that place.
Nice.
But that's where we met Daryl. We were doing video with them at the fort, and Daryl was coming through, promoting his book and doing tours. And he's just came back from My Haunted Hotel like a week before he went there to the UK, did their show, fell in love with the format, and was like, "How do I bring this here?" And he just met us. We were interviewing him, so we had all the videos set up. Had a good rapport with him. He's like, "What do you guys think? Would you want to work on a project with me?" And we're just like blown away. We like ate every episode of My Haunted Hotel. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved those guys. And
The
we were just
long-term investigation format.
Yeah.
24/7.
I was gonna bring it up for those of you who don't know. Me and Jim fell in love with this immediately.
Mhm.
This kind of long format investigation. Can you guys kind of talk about that technique?
Yeah, so I mean, like Jeff's saying, it started in the UK with My Haunted Hotel, and it was Harry. Harry's the boss over there. It was his idea, and he purchased this pub, this hotel, and with the idea in mind to set up cameras all throughout it, and hopefully document some activity and just have guests and people join in on the investigation and be a part of telling the story. And we, believe that that's like the future. That's what paranormal investigating should be. You can't get on and in one night find out if it's haunted or not. It could be a quiet night. You walk away, it's not haunted, but meanwhile it's super active.
I think back in the day it was almost inconceivable because the equipment used to be so expensive. Not saying it's cheap now, but I mean Jim can definitely attest to like how much all the cameras cost and all this stuff. But at least it's manageable. I mean, what you just installed new cameras after we left, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you got? What are you packing there now?
So you got 16 brand new 8 megapixel 4K, super nice IR cams, crystal clear. It's a huge upgrade from the quality of what we had before. But it was great to get us started. But this is going to really kick us up to the next level for sure.
Yeah, we're already getting stuff just in the 2 weeks of additional angles, rooms that we didn't have, cameras in, and just the frame rate. And like the old cameras were so, crappy, the pixelation. It was hard to trust anything that we thought could have been paranormal. So it was hard.
The audio was out of sync. It was like a time delay in the audio. Pain. It was just an extra challenge, but
anything that makes the sit down. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
This past weekend on the third floor, it's a new camera, and it's the third floor in the right room.
Yeah.
Put a camera in there, and we caught something getting thrown from that back corner, it looks like.
That's the one
I showed that. Yeah, I showed that to Sean.
That's crazy. And then you see all the dust drop. That's a good.
And that's an angle we didn't have until just like 2 weeks ago.
You need to get eyes on that rug. Did you get a camera on the? What's it? It's kind of the interchange between all the different like the children.
Oh yeah, where we heard the knock originally.
Yeah, and then the rug there was
disheveled. Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Say again
about so
in
that hallway between the electric room where people see shadow figures walking through when they're doing like in the same hallway as the steps that go up.
The rug right in front of the control room.
Yeah, maybe we didn't even get to this because there was so much things going on. But like when we were investigating the knock, we go out there and we see the rug is disheveled. And like I know we were walking here, but we weren't.
It was like all kicked up and like flipped over. We're like,
yeah. Okay. And I think we might have somewhere that's like shows it kind of not kicked, but we'd have to double check it all.
We have something else coming up in an episode here. I think it's episode 3 that has to do with one of the rugs up there on the second floor.
Oh,
I don't want to give too much away, but it's the best piece we have yet.
Wow.
You heard it first here exclusively.
It's going to blow your mind. I'm telling you. It's going to be a game changer.
That's
what
crazy.
We thought you were talking about at first.
No,
there was a rug upstairs on the second floor that like when we were investigating that knock, we're like, we didn't mess up, like because Sean's like maybe we messed it while we were like getting
setting up.
I was like, I would have tripped over it if I would have done that. You know what I mean? So it was like,
we'll have to check that Baker room cam. I don't remember hearing about. We must have forgot that.
Well, it's not.
We'll
Can you
that
see
camera.
the rug from the
Yeah,
Baker room too?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well.
From the pew that you sit there.
Yeah.
Right. We'll look back on that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's just with all the stuff, and you guys are pretty good about it. You're like, mark your times on everything.
Mhm.
We just completely forgot because we were already investigating something else.
I know. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about the knock. Why don't we just show the people the knock then?
I guess
Yes.
we'll jump straight into some of the evidence.
Is some of the evidence right here? Here's the knock, ladies and gentlemen.
He wants to talk to it without us. All right, the controller's right around the corner here, right? Or is it up one more? Oh Jesus! What was that?
As we go talk to My Haunted Manor.
That wasn't me. I didn't hit anything, did I? No. You heard that, right?
Yeah.
It's knocked. Well, I was walking. So my first thought was I hit, but this is like a cloth, right?
Yeah.
It would be the rug in that room.
Yeah, where you can't see it, where Matt's standing. Maybe
Yeah.
Matt messed it up. I just heard a knock,
Oh, the sitting room.
like a big almost like this, like. Yeah, that's what it was. Like it came. This door tried to close on me, but the brick was there. Well, we're gonna.
We got poltergeist.
We'll talk to them, see if they can see that door move at all.
Yeah.
And coming in.
I think there was more inside it.
Yeah, I think we did some sound testing afterwards, and you did the knock on the table, and it sounded more like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
it sounded like something hit the table.
I
That's
do
the
want
first
to.
time seeing it from that angle, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool because we caught it on the hallway camera, and it's really loud.
Yeah.
Seeing it in that angle.
Yeah,
I do want to yell at all of you for not being decent human beings and telling me that goatee was just hideous.
I mean,
I don't know
I
how
could
bad I
rock
wanted
it.
to.
No idea. Trey, Jeff, and I, we were in the back just making fun of you the whole
Yeah.
time.
Some of this guy's getting
I edited one video and I'm like, I edited one video with that goatee and I went straight to the bathroom. I'm like, nope.
This guy think he's Johnny Depp or something? Oh,
man.
But yeah, since we're doing clips already, might as well roll into that segment. We'll come back with questions afterwards. Yeah. So obviously, most of you have watched the episode. It should have came out last week. If it didn't, we definitely screwed something up. But whatever. But for those of you, and maybe you watched the after show, we probably have the same clips. But here we got some clips. We did right before that knock. We did a EVP set, or not an EVP set.
it was at 50. Yeah, it was an EVP. 15 minutes of silence where we don't say anything, and we just let the EVP recorder run, and we see what we get.
Yeah,
them ghosts were calling us out.
Yeah, we obviously cut up all the quiet parts, and we already looked through it, so this is a bit more concise. But Jim, you want to play it?
Yeah. Next to doll room, EVP, 15-minute, no sound, no lights.
The flux going off already.
Yeah. Right, the doorway.
Oh, that's the natural flash of it, though. It'll beep when it goes off.
Train.
Yep. As soon as the train comes by.
This is just off your Zoom recorder?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can still hear the train in the background going off.
Sounded like a kid though, right?
Are you there?
An older kid, an older female. Like a teenager.
I love that one because we're not saying anything and they're like talking to us and like
They're like nothing to say.
Right, yeah.
This one's the one I was telling you guys about.
That sounds a lot like something we just caught. I don't know
Yeah.
what it says, but that voice sounds similar.
Pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That let them out is so clear.
Yeah.
The next part coming up.
Right. That one's like probably the clearest EVP we've
Yeah.
like ever gotten.
That one was good.
hate this.
And like you can imagine.
It's got a list.
Dynamite. I hate
Yeah.
this. God.
God.
Like you
What does
can
he hate?
imagine.
Hunting the paranormal investigators coming in and doing this.
Yeah, that ghost is clocking into work.
I put that meme up where it's Ben Affleck sitting in the corner with a cigarette, and he's like, "What a ghost sees somebody bringing a REM pod."
Yeah, rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's some good EVPs.
yeah,
It
and
seemed
that's
like the like it was quiet before the train. Like, did the train kind of spark anything? Or...
Yeah, because we
good.
So that's what's gotta. He was like, well, he in the video where he's like, I want to get an EVP after the train because it says that it's supposed to kick up energy or and everything. So that's when we did it. So we're like, okay, we'll get some good EVPs on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the voice that sounded familiar to me was a voice that we caught in that back room, that servants' quarters, that says the train gives us our energy.
Oh,
And it
So
sounds
you didn't
like
even
that voice.
you didn't even tell me that was an EVP. You just said, yeah, we think they're like the train's giving them energy as it comes through. So that's interesting.
Well, we just noticed that trend, being there
Yeah.
so long, we
Yeah.
noticed an uptick when the train goes by. But
Yeah.
this new EVP, it's coming out in the episode coming up Sunday. So
Yeah,
We'll
that
check that out. See if
is
those sound the same.
10:30.
Yeah, 30 mark.
You want to drop dates because obviously this doesn't, align with current time.
Oh yeah. So in episode 2, that voice you'll hear that familiar voice say, "The train gives us our energy," and it's
Yeah, so that Sunday would be the 23rd, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the 23rd.
this is going to be a bit after that. So this will probably
Okay.
be like, but
No problem.
if you haven't watched episode 3 of My Haunted Manor USA, it's out now. So
Yeah. Watch season 1, catch up, some crazy stuff, and then come out and see us in person because that's the way to do it.
Right.
I'll be out there soon.
Yeah, Jim's like, I'm going back. I'm not even waiting for you to drive back down. I'm just going.
I actually was. I've been getting my my other my buddies. Well, it'll be Matt and then my one best friend Key.
I'm being replaced already.
He has a house in Columbia too, so it's like
nice.
perfect.
That's
Hey,
right back.
and we think that house.
And
may
we're
be
bringing
haunted.
some people for Rowdy.
Okay.
If you can.
He's a trip, man.
Yeah.
Oh, he is a
You guys
trip. I
got
love
to-
Rowdy.
All right, we won't
Oh,
dive
yeah.
into that. Rowdy is a great guy. For those of you who don't know, Rowdy is the owner of the Samuel Miller Mansion, which is,
Yeah.
My Haunted Manor USA. Obviously, we do get into the history a bit in the video and the beginning in the narration. But I mean, I think this is a good time. We'll take a pause from the clips. Could you give us? You don't have to go into the the discography of the entire place, but like the general history of the building. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah. It was built in 1802 by Samuel Miller, and it quickly became the Bank and Bridge Company. And this was like the offices, the bank for Columbia, and they also owned all the bridges. So they owned the large covered bridge that went across to Wrightsville. And during the Civil War, in that lobby there, that building, they signed the documents that said go burn this bridge, because basically during the Civil War, the Confederates were marching towards Columbia, trying to get to Harrisburg, and could possibly have won the war, but
for those of you who aren't Civil War like nerds, Harrisburg was our like last line. That's what essentially was our capital 2.0 at that point. So if they get to Harrisburg, it's over.
Well, that burning of the bridge was the precursor of the Battle of Gettysburg, because they got pushed back to Gettysburg then.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you can't be a paranormal investigator in like the tri-state area and not know like all the workings in Gettysburg and Pennsylvania and like how all that Civil War stuff happened, because that's you really follow the battles to find the ghosts, and then you start digging deeper though, and a lot of this stuff predates even the Civil War.
Sure.
Yeah, when you start getting into a lot of the history of PA and the haunted locations.
We're finding some wild history up. Wait till you guys see.
We have some crazy leads for season 2 here that could explain a lot of things.
I'm interested. All right. I'm hooked. I've been hooked, so you don't have to hook me again. But
and we're gonna try, and see if we can find another spot to dig in the basement. Bring in some cadaver dogs and see if there's any other, potential graves down there.
This is in the part 2, so we won't go into specifics, but I'm very interested because obviously at the beginning of season 1 or season 2, you do the digging in that front there. Right. And I think chronologically, this was right before we came in and did our investigation.
Okay.
Right. I think, right? Because I think you were telling us that you did some digging and you had some cool artifacts.
Yeah.
And then I had not known about it. You guys talked about it briefly, but then we do our EVP session, and we had Estes session, and we had a completely different idea about what was going on, where things are in the basement. So I'd love to see that and see how that plays out. And
dog sniffing areas that you guys
just say something told us where stuff was, but
I love that. Yeah,
and so we'll see. Obviously, no spoilers. We don't want to spoil your future episode. We don't want to spoil our future episode. But it gets crazy in the basement. Granted, the entire night's crazy. So
the basement is basically the origin of the Underground Railroad tunnel system. And they, the owners of the Bank and Bridge Company were huge abolitionists. We now have ties to Harriet Tubman, came through there possibly, and possibly, her parents. She got her parents out of slavery through there. They came up through Maryland, so they would have traveled through Columbia. So the odds of them coming through that building, going up those stairs, going up into that, that 1800s panic room up in the attic that locks from the inside, where I think that they were hiding, enslaved people up there. So I think, it's all tied to that part of the history.
And, it kind of puts a lot of these EVPs in the frame, right? Like we got, hey, beautiful, let them out. Like
that actually, since you're talking about that actually does. Hey, beautiful, let them out. Like because they're locked inside.
Right. I was trying to think of what let them out of what, but
there's a lot of connotations there, and you don't want to speculate because we want to be more open-minded, but one cannot not speculate.
Right.
So
what I say when it comes to like paranormal investigating is you don't want to take any one answer as fact. You want to get repeating data. So when you keep getting the same answers, the same kind of stuff, that's when you can lean into the evidence that you're getting.
Yeah.
And the answers, what they're saying.
Yeah, and our philosophy has been not to do a lot of front loading, but we're all paranormal fans, so we know about a lot of these spots. So we try to stay away from it as much as possible right before we go to a hunt. And we had this conversation about the tour. And so we're like, hey, well, give us something, but don't give us too much, right? And we, looking at long term, obviously we're going to go back to a lot of places we investigated, and then now we want to start narrowing our you threw the open net, and now you're trying to narrow it and figure out what those things meant and things like that. You get to do it on a more everyday basis, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's like one big science project. So I would say, I love it.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's doing it like that because obviously there's in the world of science, ghost hunting isn't very respected, and I'm not going to sit here and say that's not valid, but when you start doing things like what you're doing with the long term, you're putting it in a more actual scientific lens, and it's more scientific than me and Jim showing up for one night, seeing what we got, and then leaving.
Right.
But
yeah, and I would say too, like
you guys,
even though
it's
we're-
valid. It's not that one's better, but it's just your odds. You're upping your odds. You're there.
yeah,
You're watching every night. Something's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
well, that's
You
the
watch
biggest
Trey
thing about.
Bader?
Yeah,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I feel
But yeah, no. So like repeatable data is like what you guys are
Right.
saying,
Yeah, finding
and
trends.
obviously we can only get so much repeatable data on one night, and then you can always throw, well, something was off that night for whatever reason.
Right.
But
I would say too, like even though we're kind of more scientific based, we don't dismiss the spiritual side. That to me is it's a correlation when you get a medium that picks up on something that other people have witnessed firsthand, multiple people, or that you were backing up with scientific equipment. You got to take that, and you can't take it for granted. You can't just dismiss people, just because you don't believe in mediums. That means something to me, and you shouldn't be judgmental towards that.
yeah, and I worked with a bunch of mediums. That's actually kind of, and most people who watch this show know my story, but my friend's best mom was like the most famous psychic medium in the general area. So like that's how I got into everything. But
You say best
Yes.
mom.
You said your mom,
best
your friend's mom, your friend's best mom.
This is my
I mean,
mom.
it's still not inaccurate.
This is my best mom, though.
This is my
Best mom. The best.
my friend's best. Out of my friends, she would. No, I won't say that. But yeah, no. So
Right.
I'm definitely on the same page. Like there is a spiritual aspect to some of these things.
Yeah.
And it's hard to quantify that, but it's hard to ignore it. And that's Jim is I think more of a spiritual rod than I am when we start talking about these kinds of things. But we this is very similar to our podcast that we just had not too long ago with Paranormally Blonde and all that. But I feel like we're treading old ground, but not for everyone.
I think everybody's got some level of, I think everybody's got some kind of psychic
ESP or
connection,
something.
ESP. Yeah, I just think there's different levels of it, and different people can tap into it more. But I think everyone.
And I think a lot of it has to do with like things that like you said you saw apparition as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And like I have a very similar story. Mine was there was a demon in our house when I was a kid, and we had to have an exorcism on the house.
Mhm.
So like it kind of opened up like almost like you were closer to the paranormal, like you can sense it a little bit more. It's kind of like they say people who get struck by lightning, they can sense when storm's coming.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like I feel like it's almost kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah. The veil is
Yeah.
thinner. With
Yeah.
And you can conceptually understand more at that point,
Right.
That's,
But the reason I bring that up too is because we had medium Bianca Rose come out a few months ago.
Okay, yeah.
And it was one of the most amazing things that she told me. She had a vision of something that me and 3 of our guests had witnessed only like 2 weeks prior to that. And we were the only ones who knew about it. No one told her, she didn't even really follow the show. She came in there and described exactly what we witnessed that night.
Wow.
And it just blew my mind. And that's going to be featured in episode 4, season 2.
Nice.
Yeah. That's
I
wild.
mean, it's stuff like that where if you were to pull off some amazing like stalking feat or like where you were able to get all this information without somebody knowing, it's almost as amazing as what you just did with like your powers, but
Right.
and it's some things are just impossible to know without
Right.
knowing,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just isn't, until you have that personal experience, it's just always going to be, that level of skepticism.
Yeah.
Just not going to believe it.
Right.
So I do want to round it back to the one more clip we do have. This is me by the quote unquote magic window.
Okay.
And so I'm using my friend's device here, Empty Casket Paranormal. Maybe Bill, I don't know if he's ever been in the area. Or
Called
whatnot.
the Rip Pod.
Yeah, he calls it the Rip Pod. But it's a very sturdy, EMF detector, right?
It never go. It's one of those that those REM pods that never go off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
you're
one
like,
of those, and when it
Yeah.
does go off,
Check
you're like,
the
okay, shit's going
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Jim, you want to play the clip?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Are you by that window? You just made that device go off. Was that you?
yes.
Can you do
Well,
it
I'm
again?
also doing an Estes right next to him.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Built.
Oh my god.
That seems. We should just send that as a commercial.
Sean,
to
can you hear me?
Bill.
Right on responsive bill.
Wow, that was incredible.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Did you build this place?
That's why they call it the magic window, because just equipment that never goes
People.
off will go off there.
There's
No.
another.
Did you work here? Is that an answer? Are you near Sean right now?
True.
Time is 1:32. Oh my gosh.
He doesn't know how that does time.
Did you
out.
just kill?
it
Did
does
you just drain that battery?
He
They're allowed
figures
to
that out
watch.
eventually.
Did
but-
you use that power?
Yes, you can go through there. We kind of have it roped off, but a lot of people get touched in there.
Stop.
Oh,
We just got cameras up in there. too.
Seriously.
I think it's gonna pay off.
oh, hell yeah.
What do you want me to stop?
Spooky.
Oh.
Is that spooky? Oh, the cat. Spooky the cat?
Oh, the spooky
I'm gonna
came
see
up
if I
on
can
that.
get this thing back on.
I heard spooky. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cat.
Yeah,
Oh,
right there.
wow.
Yeah.
Do you like the cat? Spooky the cat?
Yes. Sticker. You guys should be selling Spooky the cat stickers.
I know, right?
Is Spooky the cat your friend?
She's got a big segment coming up on Sunday.
Ooh. Yeah. Don't you like let her run free?
Do you
with
think
the
she can
camera?
see you?
Well, we lock her and Rowdy in the servants' quarters together.
Seen?
Investigate.
That device is going
Not
crazy.
The cat's
Almost.
She can almost see you. She knows where you are.
She was with me down in the
Yeah.
work area on my
Sean,
Yeah. So
this thing is going crazy.
All right, we don't have to watch them nerd out.
yeah. So I will point out, and for those of you who watched it, like I stopped because it sounded like you two came in the room.
Well, you know what? We can continue from that
Yeah.
because you explained
All
it.
lights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, because even when I do this,
No. You were. Yeah, that's what it was
close I
doing.
have
But
to
you.
edit
That
to it.
you're.
Yeah, but I wasn't moving this.
No.
I came out because it sounded like you. So I could hear you when you were speaking, but it's mumbles and I couldn't make it out.
Yeah.
It literally sounded like you were here, and there within like a second of each other.
Yeah. No, I did move. I
No,
did.
but like inhumanly. It was like in like three like or something.
Oh,
Like,
no.
it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I couldn't make out the words, but like I just felt very uncomfortable. I felt surrounded.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. I just like. And then he goes off. No, the radio is not setting off.
That scared shit out of me. I have it on camera. That thing was going crazy. You were nowhere near it.
Oh, that's Jim. Okay.
That's Jim, yeah.
I'm still slightly disoriented, running around like.
That's eight. That's an awesome session, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great.
I'm getting all the answers, and then like the REM pod's like confirming everything I'm saying.
Yeah, we get a lot of stuff with Spooky Cat. A lot of answers, regarding her. You got to think she's in there more than anyone. She lives
She's
there.
the
Oh,
vet.
yeah.
That's her
24/7,
house.
she's
Yeah.
in there.
It really is. It's her. She's the My in My Haunted.
That's her haunted manor. Yeah.
She is like the nicest cat though. Like I went over when I was down in my soul. I picked her up, gave her pets, and she was just like loving it.
Mm.
Yeah. I love.
Yeah, be careful. We had some guests get pretty scratched up by her. I don't know if something spooked her whilst they were like petting her belly, and then she would like clamp on.
But happens with cats.
Usually, yeah.
Cats doing cat stuff.
I had to look around for a first aid kit, and Rowdy had like one from like 1940s.
As old as his machines back then.
World War II too.
Sorry, we're gonna cut it off.
Yeah, amputate horse.
Nah, Jeff came up with that spooky cam idea though. And it's just been awesome. People love it. And she gets stuff. You know what I mean? She'll be just wandering around. You'll hear footsteps right around her. You know, there's no one there. And you see her react to stuff all the time. So it's good to just keep a camera on her.
Yeah, extra camera angle running around.
Right. You know, just make sure that Spooky is properly compensated for all the work she's putting in.
We're in contract negotiations right now.
Yeah. Still can't say if she's returning for season 3 or not. You know,
it's up in the air.
Out. You know, she's just a silhouette. You know.
We do like a meet the parents, get another spooky cat, paint the tail.
But I'll open it up to. I think animals, you know, they say have a that sense and can sense those things, and open it up to dogs. You know, whatever we can put a camera on that would roam the manor. I think it's great to experiment and try that out.
Yeah, and I think animals they're not preordained to like think these things are impossible, and I think that's probably one of the main things, right? Where there's no biases, they react to what they see, hear, smell, whatever.
Exactly, it's not otherworldly to them. It's just somebody's in the room and they're reacting to it.
What if we got like a parrot and used it like a spirit box?
And see if that's an experiment. I like that.
It's the ghost interpreter.
Ghost bird.
Hey, we
coming to A&E near you. I'm sorry, Amazon Prime
and Paramount.
Yeah. I think the manor is a good testing ground. You know, it's a very active place. You got new gear you want to try out. You got new experiment you want to try. I think it's a great place to do that because it's active. We can't guarantee it, but every time I've been there, it's had an experience.
I do, and I've brought this up, and this might be the first time I'm saying it on camera and stuff. I do want to start doing these podcasts in person at live locations. That'd be cool. And I've talked to you guys slightly about it, and I think one of the locations I would love to try it in first would be My Haunted Manor, and just because it's so active, it's big enough where like I could be sitting down, like say in the what's the not the sitting room, what's the main room when you first enter? The parlor. Yeah. And like you could set up like there, and then like two people can go investigate, two people can chat, and then maybe one person in the
Let's make that happen.
Yeah, we don't have the equipment to go live.
I need this is actually this is a mobile podcaster, but it just catches really good EVPs.
Right.
I think I have a plan. I'm putting it together, but I definitely want to make it happen with you guys.
We'll be talking.
We'll have special guest Spooky Cat if we can afford the appearance fee. We'll see.
Yeah.
Steve Price.
It'll make me go broke. But yeah, I would definitely like that. I think that'd be very interesting, and we'll now it's out there, so now it has to happen, or else I'm going to be yelled at. Yeah,
manifest your dreams.
Like our first season was basically like our first year at the manor, and that was finding trends and creating like a baseline for what the manor is, out of the box. And now we're adding the haunted doll. We're doing crazy experiments. We're talking about bringing in like some kind of like native drum, circle, trying different experiments so we can just see what we can, throw at the wall and make stick and what reacts.
I did want to ask you about that. Now, bringing in other haunted objects like the doll that you have there currently.
Yeah.
are you getting any new experiences with that? And are you worried about like cross contamination? Like, is this the ghost of this house now, or is it the doll? And what's going on? Because I know we had some pretty good experiences near the doll, and I don't know what to chalk that up to, whether it's that back room or it's the doll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you pull let him out.
So I was there the first night that we brought the doll in, and this was the night that I was with those 3 girls. Episode 3, that's coming up here, and it was the craziest night that I've ever had there. When we got the doll, I thought it was going to be BS. I didn't know what to expect, but I don't know if it had something to do with that or if it was just a coincidence. But that night was crazy. And the plan kind of all along was like season 1 would just be a baseline, try to figure out what's going on just at the manor, learn the sounds of the building, what's natural, and then bring something in, see if it changes at all, see if it does have an effect. And I mean, since we brought it in, dude, it's always active, but it's been like on another level.
Very
since we
different.
brought that in.
Yeah.
Now you got to do when you do season 3, you got to remove that and then get your baseline again and bring
Right.
other things
Yeah.
in. And
Yeah.
I get excited thinking about all these things that you could do.
Yeah, we have some cool stuff, man. It never ends.
Yep.
We want to get Rowdy and Sarah. They do Rivertown Theater, so they do like a lot of reenactments and stuff. We want to get them dressed up, period clothing, and just act like they're living there and see if that has any effect.
Get around
Got to do the. Have you done like a murder mystery dinner or something like that?
Yeah.
With actual ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Amy has something planned. Trying
Trying to get something together, with the with the Rivertown Theater, and
Mm-hmm.
just try anything. That's why it's cool to like having different teams come in and see what their style is and how it works and how does that react to that. And we don't say our way is the one way to do it.
We do. No.
You can say you're in a safe place. You can say it here.
we like the diversity. We like all the different stuff. Because when you get all these different things saying the same answer, that's when you know it. It's
It's stuff we would never try or never have the gear to try. So it's cool having people come in with different stuff.
So have you've gotten to a chance to go explore My Haunted Hotel, and now I know they're coming out with the My Haunted Hill, right? Or
Pendle or
Pendle.
Pendle and Hill, yeah.
That's like the UK Salem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the, witch trials and all that stuff. That's a super notorious place over there. They just opened it up, and they're getting some crazy activity.
Yeah.
You guys gotta call those guys up, be like, we're coming down. We're gonna show you how the Americans do it. Because they came in the first episode to like kind of christen it and like pass the torch. Now you got to go back over there and be like, this is how you do it.
Right? We got to represent.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're dying to go. Yeah. We have to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, now that's out there. Now it has to happen.
It'll happen. I would say in the next year.
Do it. Oh, you know what? I don't even want to say this on air, but I'll toss you an idea later, maybe. No, I'll say it anyway. You got to do it. You got to do it as an April Fool's joke, and everyone release an episode. Like the entire cruise shift a location and launch that video on April 1st, and just pretend to be the other team.
I love it.
Yeah. Sorry, I have too many ideas.
That was a good British.
Yeah. My Haunted Manor on this episode.
Nailed it.
Donnie Moss.
Yeah. Talking about, the other people involved in, My Haunted Manor and everything. Who are some of your paranormal role models in the community? Obviously, I think I might know one that you might suggest, but any others?
Yeah, definitely Grant, man. That's like my other dad. It's just such a connection to him, from Ghost Hunters and just growing up. And I would love to meet him. And, Daryl got to work with him. Super jealous. So hopefully we can get Grant over sometime, maybe work with him someday. That'd be pretty awesome. What would you say, Trey?
I would say I want to start with Gina from DSGI, Diamond State Ghost Investigators. She's like my ghost mom, I call her.
Ghost mom, I like that.
We go to our parent.
She kind of took me under her wing and she told me everything. And I guess we can announce now they're actually going to be the team that's helping us at the Manor going forward here.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're super excited about that. But other than DSGI, I would say Dustin Perry. He came out to the Manor last year, and what a nice guy. He's just such an awesome dude. And he's coming back July 19th, coming back to the Manor with Chris Williams.
Yeah. Was it Dustin or was it Steve who actually stepped on your Yeezys, Jim?
Oh, Steve.
Oh, is it Steve? I know he was with Dustin at the time. But...
Classic Steve.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like,
he stepped on my. He stepped on. I was like, no, my Yeezys.
Stepped on mine too, man.
And that's how. Now every con we see him, he's like, when he sees me, he's like, oh, my Yeezys.
So funny. I met him at the Warren's Paracon. That was pretty.
This year we were at that one.
Oh, we're
yeah. We must have missed you. So we didn't know you at the time. So we were just starting out.
Awesome.
That was like our first Paracon.
Yeah,
pretty
cool. We definitely need to do more. We're trying. It's just cons are there. You have to really power through those cons.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a good time.
Cool. It was just great to see people that meet people that actually knew the show, saw it, and we're talking about episodes, and it's like people are actually watching this.
Yeah,
we're not just doing this for nothing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's got the best fans, man. The UK and the USA fans are just amazing.
So I was out and about in my hometown, and someone goes, "Hey, do you work at X location?" A location I've never really worked at or been near. And I'm like, no, why? And they're like, you just look familiar, and I don't know what it's from. I'm like, maybe. I don't want to be like, I'm a YouTuber,
Yeah,
I'm like, maybe, and I just walked out.
Right. But it's cool getting recognized sometimes.
It is.
Yep.
Take it.
Going back to some of my pocket questions that I have. I know we've been going off script, but that's the whole fun of it.
Probably our fault.
Yeah, it's my fault, but what's the craziest paranormal thing that you didn't get on tape? What's the experience or the evidence that got away?
Definitely episode 3, what I saw in the basement.
Yeah.
Didn't get it, but there's correlation with it that you'll find out about in that episode. Jeff and I were at the Fort Delaware, and we were going through the casemates, and we saw what looked like bluish green footprints, basically walking.
What?
One of the craziest. Wow! Remember that, Jeff?
Oh wow! Yeah, it was, and part of the feet, the shoes were starting to manifest, and as we got closer, it just dissipated. But it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
We just had red flashlights on. That's all we had. Headlamps. We're walking through the tunnels, the casemates, and saw that. And there's a notorious picture at Fort Delaware called the Blue Man. And if you look it up, you might be able to find it online, but it's looks like a Civil War soldier. You can see detailed coat, cuffs.
Right in that same spot.
Right around that same spot, yeah. So, and it was that same color, that bluish green color.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if I can pull it up, but
if I can ever
in the Blue Man group.
Blue Man group.
See if I can share my screen real quick.
Holy shit, Blue Man group's down there.
Yeah. His microphone turns around, starts singing.
Jeff Goldblum.
Shit.
Is this the photo you're talking about?
No.
I'm
not sure if it's a public thing. Maybe I could ask someone.
It might be on their website under evidence.
Is it literally a guy in blue? Is it an apparition in blue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I found it.
With a gray wall.
And is it just this guy in yellow shorts, just a normal guy sitting there not knowing what's going on?
No, I don't think anybody else is.
Yeah.
Well, let me see. I'll find it real quick.
That might be just clickbait, but
yeah, it's real fake. It's obviously fake.
yeah. And then I'm looking at the one I just pulled up. It's definitely obviously fake. I caught Ghost on Cam, Fort Delaware. And
yeah, right.
Literally a reenacted soldier, set to transparent. Anyway, So
yeah, we'll find it. We'll try to get it to you for sure.
yeah, no problem.
Oh, I got it coming up right now. I'm just like
We'll give homework to the viewer to go Google it themselves. Right?
Yeah.
Talked
What else-
about your
Did you find any? Do you remember anything else that happened?
they got away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just recently, I was walking from the parlor into the print shop, and I saw like a long shadow. Like there was light in the print shop, and there was a sliver of light coming through where the front desk is onto the floor. And I was kind of looking at that light as coming in. It was the only light there, and then half that shadow just walked away. And I just like looked up and nothing was there.
You know, things are about to get weird when the shadows start walking away.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that wasn't
that's not right.
not right.
He was pretty
recreate it.
spooked. He was spooked.
I
I
know.
remember.
Yeah,
Is this what you think you got, Jim? Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Pretty
is.
sure we saw his feet starting to manifest.
It's like the fullest body apparition I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me? And I'm not saying it is. Do you remember when AI like was just becoming a thing and it would try to make something and it would completely botch it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's that because that's clearly older than all that stuff. But that's what it reminds me of.
Blue man starts eating noodles. That's always what it is.
Yeah. So talk about role models, experiences. Any dream paranormal locations? I mean, obviously we talked about the
My Haunted
other-
Manor, of course.
we talked about the other My Haunted projects, but any other locations that you haven't?
I would love to bring this format to the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah, I was thinking Stanley too, my
Perfect
man.
for it. I mean,
You
we need
know-
a huge control room. It would be a massive undertaking, but even just a portion of it, something like that would be cool.
Absolutely.
Now,
Well, they kind of tried to back out of the whole paranormal thing like a few years back. Like they tried to they're like no more ghost hunts. This is just historical now. But I think they get caved back in and have people do it because they weren't getting much business.
well, I mean, it's a great hotel. They just don't want to be known as the haunted like hotel because
It's like, why would you not want to have Stephen King as your like baby right there?
well,
You know,
it got so much history too, and they don't want the history to be back,
convoluted. Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Which I understand, and that's where a lot of people sit. And there are plenty of locations that like you hear stories and experiences from, but they're like, no, we don't care. We just want the history. And I'm like, all right, well, it's your place. That's fine. Do what you want. But and since you brought up the Stanley, immediately comes to mind. Have you guys been to the Shanley in
Warwick?
Napa?
No, Napa. Oh yeah, Napa. I'm thinking Mid Orange.
No.
Our team did right before we joined.
Yeah.
Right before I joined in 2020. I think they went like 2018. They said it was good though.
Yeah, that's a great. We've been there. It kind of has the same kind of not layout, but I think if they could set up something similar to what you have, I think they could do a lot there. You know,
Yeah, I mean, we're looking to expand. We have some big news coming up about a West Coast location opening, possibly this year. They're coming up maybe by summer.
Yeah.
They're ready to go. Have cameras and
nice.
of getting the My Haunted stamp on it, but
Yeah.
really exciting stuff. Yeah, so I think that's the key is these places just don't want to bother with it anymore. It's like they own it and they have to rent it out. Where our production could come in, we can study the place and rent it out and handle all that, and we make it easy on these owners to just kind of kick back and as much as they want to be or not at all. So it's
We've had
exciting.
multiple locations reaching out to us. I mean, it's going to happen in time. It's just we got to kind of there's one step at a time with it.
We can't grow too fast where we're not.
There's only so many nouns you can put after My Haunted, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now
There's
we've
only so
talked
many
about
building
that.
descriptors.
My Haunted Trailer.
Yeah.
My
My
Haunted.
Haunted 1972 Winnebago.
My other haunted manor.
Yeah.
My other haunted manor.
Reminds me of Spaceballs, the lunchbox.
My buddy, he actually, so he's the one that I'm bringing with you. So he owns a house over in Columbia, and he rents it out and everything. And so he had a lot of paranormal stuff happening at his because his place was like really old as well.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's quite as old as the My Haunted Manor, but it was like his roommate has been talking about like random toys just started playing by themselves. Like he has kids and everything. And like he said, he saw like change like float out of the change jar and come back and fall back down.
Whoa.
Like crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I was like, I don't know if I believe you, but I mean, your
I
truth is
I
your
want to
truth.
find out.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
and so his roommate's going to be moving out at some point. And Sean and my buddy was like, well, you can just stay at the house and just do paranormal investigations here while in between renting it and stuff.
So
Like,
we're
okay.
budging in on your turf, is what we're saying.
yeah, we're gonna be right there.
Yeah. Don't
You
go over
see-
there.
you see-
Investigate this house.
It's gonna be like you say, my other haunted manor,
Yeah.
Do it. I'm down.
written in pencil and everything.
My haunted third room floor apartment or whatever.
I'm on studio.
Yeah, my haunted studio,
Hey, that does sound. That's actually a pretty good one. You know.
Yeah.
my haunted flat.
Yeah, I like it.
I think
That's
eventually
the UK version. Yeah.
I think eventually it'd be like a My Haunted Project USA, and then Columbia, PA. I think it'll be kind of cleaned up a little bit because you're right. We're gonna run out of My Haunted stuffs.
Right.
But
we've talked about
the idea is there, and I think it's a great concept, and it's different. It's a different take on it. Instead of a million places, we're going to one and just setting up camp and seeing what happens. We can watch from our house. We get everything on the phone, so we get alerts, and we're just constantly editing and adding to the show and adding to the story as we catch things and as guests catch things. Guests are there every Friday and Saturday, so there's constantly stuff coming up, and we need help. If anybody wants to look through hours and hours of footage, let us know.
Listen,
Because
got my
we
whole
got-
setup here. Yeah.
Now we doubled our camera count, so it's even more.
It's
footage.
got to be a nightmare to go through that. Like I was going through our footage, and I'm very when I'm doing it, I'm very tedious. Like I sit there and I replay things a million times, and I'm like, there's something there, and then I do my audios like that, and that's why I always take EVP 1 so I can just match it up to the area that we're in.
Yeah.
It takes a
What's
village, believe me. And we do have some great people helping us behind the scenes, and Kelsey and Diana and Melissa, Josh and Landon. Shout them out. They've all been gigantic helps for us.
Huge support.
Yeah,
we couldn't do it without them.
nah.
And the worst thing you could do is just let your footage just sit and rot and never look at it. And, that's the stuff that's got the perfect evidence on it. You just gotta go through it.
What do you guys do for storage? Because that's got to be geez. And maybe this is too nerdy for the actual podcast, but I'm over here like my terabytes are just piling up, and I'm like, geez.
Yeah, it's a lot of drives. It's a lot of Google drives and external drives.
Yeah,
the DVR system is pretty robust. Holds a couple months, I think, of footage.
Oh wow! Nice.
And pull stuff, so it's not eating itself right away. So we do have some time to pull and plan and kind of make this story work as best we can with what we're catching.
Yeah, we only pull what we need. We're not pulling every 24 hours of every camera.
Right.
Every day.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one nice thing about still cameras, though, because if it's just sitting there, it's pretty easy just to kind of fast forward, and if you see a change, you'll know it's very noticeable. I notice that with our stills when we have I'll sometimes when I'm on a hunt,
you just lock in and
I'll just leave a camera in one location. I won't touch it for an hour, and just let with the SLS, I'll just kind of scroll through it and see if I see anything.
Right.
And then
you'll see a spike, something.
Audio.
I forget what I was gonna say.
Nerding out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll kind of wrap it up here with one last question. Kind of the question I kind of end everyone off with. If you could give advice to the early Bader brothers just starting out to kind of get ahead and off to a better start, what advice would you give your past selves?
Learn Premiere before we start. For me,
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good practical one. A lot of people are just like, believe in yourself, keep going. But you're like, no, here's the skill set you need to get actually.
Yeah.
That's good. I like
yeah.
that.
Because I mean, I've like since I've been little helped Jeff, with he's always done video stuff, and I've always been around filming with him, running around, but never really did like the post production stuff, and didn't realize what goes into it. And I give him so much credit for season 1. It was all on him, and he did an amazing job, and all the episodes were amazing. And
Thanks, man.
yeah, proud of him. But glad I can help out a little bit here and take some.
Doing great,
Round of
Jeff.
applause. Good job, Jeff. You earned it.
I would just say keep hustling, keep doing what you're doing, and try
See,
not
this
to.
is the normal answer we get. No,
Yeah. Don't say no. Don't say no.
Yeah.
Just do it. Learn and keep growing, and something's going to happen. Something will kick, and we're still waiting for that opportunity to happen for us. But no, this is our shot.
I'm just on Amazon Prime.
I'm just on Amazon Prime.
Still trying to make it.
Yeah,
That
I'll be willing
grind.
to turn it on and see it.
Yeah, fair
Yo,
enough.
you ain't on SoundCloud anymore. You made it.
Yeah, I think that's true though. Like you got to have fun with it.
Yeah.
What I say is like doing this kind of stuff is you're putting pieces of a puzzle together, but the image is, the picture is what you have in your head, and there's fun in that. I really love it. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, you won't be successful doing it.
Yeah, you'll break yourself. You'll wear yourself down.
Right.
If the job isn't the reward, right, then it's not the solution.
The journey is where it's at.
Exactly. All right, I think that's been episode 14 for you guys. Jeff, Trey, thank you for coming. Jim, thank you for co-hosting as always.
See you.
Remember, stay tuned, stay crazy.
Love you guys.
See you guys.